everyone goes to their elders and they all respect them, and anything that the older person asks, they will do, basically. And there's just like a general respect for everyone. Like, I don't feel any discrimination there generally, except for sometimes like people who have lighter skin are like slightly discriminated against just because like they don't really see that very much, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. How about you? How was it like when you were growing up?
Oh, growing up, well, I've grown up in Montana my entire life. I lived in Deer Lodge when I was really little, but most of my life I've been in Missoula. So I've always been around people who are kind of a lot like me, in a sense, like I guess same skin tone, same basic belief systems. But at the same time, I also have a very liberal upbringing, so I was never really opposed to any type of person or anything, and none of my friends were, and my mother wasn't, and my family never was. My family is excellent about that kind of thing. So I had a pretty liberal, like, kind of just, you know, make friends. No, I don't care who they are as long as they're good people, kind of upbringing, and that was really nice.
Yeah, when I lived in Chicago, the school, like the neighborhood that we lived in was basically all African American. So then when we came to Montana, there's like no black people that I really generally in the schools. And so I went to a school where there was maybe 2 white kids, and there was like just everyone else was African American just because of the neighborhood we lived in. And it was really strange and I don't know, it was really strange to come to Montana where there's no compared to a big city, there's very little diversity. So it was a big change.
That was talked about too with the Project Life. There was 150 students, and they had an opportunity to talk about the diversity, and that was one of the things that was said. It's like, here, we're not as open to diversity as someone who maybe comes from a metropolitan area where there's lots and lots of diversity.
Well, I think a lot of the prejudice is really just based off ignorance. Like, even with people who maybe have some kind of mental disability or like a little problem with their cognitive abilities, a lot of the time prejudice you see with that is just based off of a lack of knowledge. Like, that's so commonly why people discriminate. It's just they don't know. So I think Missoula especially, in my experience, is pretty good at like educating people from an early age about these things, so that they kind of aren't prone to dislike someone because they're different. They're kind of like, oh, okay, I get that. Yeah.
Missoula is a really liberal town out of Montana. Like, it's just kind of this random mix thrown in there. But it's really nice. So.
Yeah.
So how do you think students learn? Do you think they learn more from interacting with other students or the school systems?
Oh, I'd say other students, easy. Like, a lot of people like to think that, oh, this type of person has a charmed life and nothing ever goes wrong for them, or that kind of person has a horrible life, and that's what that's like. But when they actually get to hear the stories and connect with those people, they find, okay, well, so there's a lot of balance here. This person and me, we're all really similar. Yeah.
Now, you two are team leaders, is that my understanding?
Yes, we are trainers.
We have been, we took a summer camp course this summer on how to basically lead a Respect Club activity and like kind of show people, a workshop, yeah, and show people like, okay, well, what are some of the activities we do?
Well, they have like speak outs where you'll take a person and they can tell their story, and then other people can relate to them, and there's just a lot of like sharing and connecting between the people, and so we're just like the sideline referees, I guess, who are just like helping.
Yeah, we kind of like set the tone, and then we just let people go with it.
Well, tell me this: once you receive the training, then what happens? Where do you go with your training?
Usually, just I believe it starts kind of in our own schools. We are encouraged to just on a really basic level, kind of lead people toward a more, hey, now let's not judge existence, and then on top of that, we're asked to lead some different workshops where our peers and even upperclassmen perhaps are brought to us, and we have to like lead them in these activities, which is scary sounding.
Yeah. And you can also be like a fresh face, so you can just go and watch and learn more, and then you can become start leading workshops yourself.
So in the leading workshops, I'd like to hear a little bit more about that. What age groups? So you said high school, it could be upperclassmen?
And middle schoolers,
Yes.
too, are encouraged to lead, which is nice because, middle schoolers, that's kind of the age of 11, 12, 13, and that's where a lot of the weird pressure to find out who you are comes in.
Yeah.
And so everyone's kind of lashing out at everyone else. So that's a time when it's really good to have some kind of basic sense of, someone to tell you, hey, this is a decent moral compass. Let's start here, like that.
So how is that received by the middle schools?
Better than by the high schools.
No kidding.
I'd
Yeah.
say so.
Definitely.
Yeah, middle schoolers, especially when, you're older than them like us, we're still relatable because we're close to their age, but we're technically older. We're upperclassmen. We're in high school. We're able to kind of influence them, hey, we're cooler than you, so we do this. It must be cool. You should do it too. And so they're like, okay.
Yeah, they'll look
I'll do
up
that.
to you as...
And they're more willing to listen too. And your peers just aren't. They don't respect
Because
each other.
At
much.
that
They're
point, by
respect
high
us.
school, you have basically your set group of who you hang out with. But in middle school, you just skip around everywhere, basically.
Yep.
And so it's easier to fit in with a group if, I don't know, it's just easier for you to teach the people who are younger and are still trying to figure themselves out.
I really wish when I was younger, I would have had things that you're talking about now. A lot of programs are being developed across the country, and it's like I can just remember how I felt like I didn't fit. And when I talk to so many youth, they feel the same way at times. I just don't fit. Where do I fit? Where am I going? How am I going to get there? What will I become after I arrive? All of these questions that I used to think was just something I felt. And I think that's where a lot of youth don't have that connectedness. When you hear from other youth and that they too are feeling the same things, you don't feel nearly so alone and so different. And I think that's one of the reasons why when I first watched this video, and this will be in all of the schools. I already cleared your shelves. I took the last 10 DVDs that you had, but this is going to be one of them that we're going to have in all of the schools in this area. I think it's a very, very nice statement. And we already know that the youth are really the mentors. You are the teachers. I mean, you're going to take this to a whole different level that our system has not been that successful at doing. So I wanted to just talk to you a little bit more about your peer leadership. When did this all start? I mean, when can you get involved in a...
The workshops are set up throughout the year, I believe, and so we're, I guess, asked to, through email or a phone call, hey, do you want to lead this
notify
workshop?
everyone who has been trained, basically.
And then those who are liking the idea of doing that, they just get back to them and they say, yeah, sure, okay. And then off they go and they stand in front of a group of teens and say, hey, we're going to have some fun today.
Because I find it easier to relate to a teenager than to, because if you see someone older, you think, oh, they're just preaching me. Yeah. A lot of people want to rebel against older people just to prove that they can. So when it's peers your age and they're trying to influence you, you just go with the flow more easily than with older people. So
that's true.
I think it's good that they're training the younger people to do the workshops.
And you're 14 and you've already received training. You're a peer, you're a leader. That's a huge responsibility to take on.
I think it's kind of more of just a human responsibility, or it should be. It should be.
Yeah,
just 'cause
everybody
should feel responsible for the happiness of others. It's actually kind of been proven in a very loose way, but one of those things that probably is common knowledge deep down, that helping others makes people happy. It does. Money doesn't. Wealth, good looks don't necessarily, but helping others definitely has shown people's moods improving. So, that's always good.
This is wisdom beyond my